Thank you so much for being here. I'm Glenda Hatchett. Most of you know me as Judge Hatchett, but I am now stepping beyond the bench to the other side of the bench, and I am very proud. I count it a special privilege to represent the Castile family in what we consider to be a horrible, horrible, senseless tragedy. It is my honor to introduce his mother, Philando Castile's mother, Miss Valerie Castile, who you have seen show such strength, such grace, such courage in the face of an unimaginable crisis in the life of her family. And so it is my honor to introduce her to you this morning. I will then make some comments, and then we will open it up for questions from the press. Thank you very much, Ms. Castile.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out. I just want to take this time to tell you a little something about my son. My son was 32 years old. He would have been 33 this Saturday, July the 16th. He was suddenly taken from us under horrible circumstances. I am devastated, but I have to get a message out from him. So he is the driving force in me to make sure this doesn't happen to another mother. It's been going on too long. I used to look at TV and see other parents under these same circumstances and say, wow, I hope that would never happen to me. But it has. And now I have a voice. And I have to share that voice so you all would know exactly what happened. My son was a humanitarian. He was a pillar in this community. The children that he worked with loved him. He didn't deserve to die like that. You guys want to ask questions? I have one question myself. In what country that being honest and telling the truth will get you killed? You answer that one for me. This is something that's unheard of, unprecedented. And we as a nation need to address these issues. And the only way we can do that is by passing different laws. We need to put a foot in it, get with the legislatures, and try to do it differently. As far as the demonstrations and the protests, I don't approve of violence because violence begets violence. And that is not the way to obtain justice. We also need to change laws, and we also need a different perspective about the African Americans from a social and a political standpoint. We, as black people, make up 12 to 13% of the population, and majority of the men in prison are black. Unemployment and living in poverty. If this is the direction of humanity, then we're doomed. Things have to change. So what are we going to do about it? Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank you very much. I tell you, she has been a model of strength and courage, tenacity. She is focused. And so she, on behalf of all of her family, which I just so admire the strength that all of her family has shown as you have seen them rally around her, because it is not just this family's loss. It is a loss for all humanity that Philando Castile was gunned down the way he was gunned down. I'm going to be very succinct in my comments. I want to stress once again that it is my privilege my privilege to represent them in what I believe has to be a move so that we, not only in this community, but as a nation, move to higher ground. I want to particularly thank Reverend David Keaton for having brought us together. But I will tell you that my first response when I came to Ms. Castile's home was to hug her, not to greet her as Judge Hatchett, but to greet her, embrace her, and hug her as one mother to another. A woman who has two young adult African American men as sons, because Philando is a son to all of us. This should not just be this family's pain, it should be one that we all share collectively, but more importantly, that we are committed to make a change. With respect to the next steps in the legal action, yes, we will aggressively pursue justice on his behalf. Yes, there will be a lawsuit. We will not share those details of the lawsuit now. It will be filed, and of course, at that point, it will become a matter of public record. Anticipating one of your questions today is that you will ask me my reaction to the officer's attorney. My response is simply this: I will see you in court. Ma'am. Lastly, I want to share with you what my son shared with me when he said, "Mom, you must do something. You must step up. You must help give a voice to this family." And so we are at a situation now where I'm proud to say that we are going to make sure that working class people have a legal dream team. I will not rest until justice is done. And so my son shared this with me, and I'll share this with you in closing before we take questions. And it is a litany. This time, he wasn't running from the police. This time, he wasn't fighting with the police. This time, he was not trying to get his gun. This time, he was not acting irresponsibly. This time, he was not doing anything unlawful. This time, we had a young man employed, loved by his co-workers, adored by the children that he served, loved by his family, loved by a community, respected deeply. This time, we had a man complying with the police officer's directives. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we are telling you, must be the last time. With that, I'll open it up to questions. If you know anything about my background, you know that I have long been an advocate for families and children. And so we have found a connection, I think, immediately.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, through Reverend David Keaton, who brought us together and for whom I'm very grateful. My response to that is that I will see him in court. I don't know that. We don't have that evidence yet. We have met along with the Castile family. I was actually there. They were meeting with her to be of support with the lead investigator. That meeting has to remain confidential, as you might understand. But I'm not going to comment on that. I am going to see them in court, and trust me and believe we will be well prepared. No, we will not depend on the BCA investigation independently. Clearly, that will be an important part of the evidence in this case, but we will have the best team possible on this matter.
Absolutely. The numbers speak for themselves. You have people that drive and never get a ticket ever. So the numbers speak for themselves. I would like for them to basically try to, I'm stuttering now. Move on. I can't do it.
Okay, all right. What we're going to do is ask for a comprehensive evaluation of laws in not only in Minnesota, but our federal laws. But really, what is it? What is it that needs to be in place such that all police departments, not just the ones locally, but all the police departments have a system by which we are looking at how police officers are hired, how they're trained, how they're retained, and what happens if there are citizen complaints. What happens in a situation when someone is stopped repeatedly? Is there a mechanism that says, why is this happening? At the time of Mr. Castile's death, he had a valid driver's license and car insurance. So we've got a lot of work to do, and that work is just beginning.
Yeah, we did discuss that with the governor. Something of that nature, the same frame, yeah.
We have to be, but we also want to be very clear that we are not going to take definitive positions on proposed legislation without us having seen the language in that legislation. Because the last thing we want to do is penalize good police officers and deter them from wanting to be of service. So we've got to make sure there's a balance between having that coverage and being able to afford that coverage independently. But I do think that there is some possibility that it could be a deterrent before you decide you're going to be acting irrationally.
Everyone is pretty much holding their own, and we rally around one another for moral support. And for his birthday, that's around the time of the Rondo Day festivals. So we were thinking about pitching a tent and giving out ice cream and cupcakes.
Yes, the funeral services will be held, and we're very grateful to the bishop for the support here at the beautiful St. Paul Cathedral, right, as you can see, right nearby. There will be a processional that will start at the Brooks Funeral Home at 10 a.m. and will end at the cathedral at 11 a.m. There will be a viewing from 11, and the service will begin right at noon. I will be honest, because what you'll find out from me, a few of you have known me from other things, but you will know that I will always be transparent with you. The service, out of respect for the family, will be closed. There will be to the press, in the sense that there will be no cameras, no photography. Certainly outside the cathedral, we will accommodate print press in a special section, but we absolutely want to be respectful of you and your family. As she has said very clearly to me from day one, this is a service to then put her king to rest. But he is not dead.
He is not dead.
He is not dead. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, let me get to this gentleman. He's been waiting patiently. I'll let you know when I file it. And you have to appreciate, I'm not going to shoot from the hip. I've just been retained as their legal counsel this weekend, and so we will be working diligently to make sure that all of that is in order. And I certainly will advise you, and of course, again, I'll be transparent, and as you know, those pleadings will be a matter of public record. The service is Thursday, the 14th, this Thursday, the 14th, at noon. Again, the processional will begin at the funeral home, Brooks Funeral Home, viewing from 11 to 12, and the service at noon this Thursday. Yes, yes. She wants to know why you picked the cathedral.
Because he's a king. My son is a king. He is also a martyr. So I thought that that would be the best place for him to have his services.
And it's a grand platform.
Yes, we can. I wish I had the piece of paper while she asking that question.
Yes, I know for a fact that he had a permit to carry because it came to my home.
In the mail. I got one too.
No, he didn't feel in danger of anything, but he was expressing his rights.
It is not. That's an excellent question. I hope everybody heard that. Can you confirm whether the scan or audio tape has been confirmed as authentic? It has not. And I have filing a special request that no evidence be destroyed, which is standard in the situation. And then there will be information including that we will ask for officially, because so much gets confused and talked about. We are operating from a point of being exact and looking at things very thoroughly. So to answer your question succinctly, no, it has not been authenticated for us.
Oh, I know for a fact that he had been stopped several times, and the reasons for that is he liked his cheddar. If you guys don't know what that is, that means money. And he would prefer getting stopped and getting a minor ticket than to have a ticket to the penitentiary by selling drugs or doing anything illegal.
So he went to work.
So he worked every day, and that's why they pretty looked at him. Black man at night coming home, nobody else on the street. Let's stop him.
No, that's not what she's saying. No, that's not what she's saying. She said he preferred to drive his car so that he could work every day. And I cannot stress this more, that this is a man who was doing everything right. He was fully employed. He had held down a job. He was going back and forth to work. And so that's what she's saying. She's not saying that they were stopping him to get money for tickets. I'll leave that for you to decide. But rather, he was driving his car so that he could get back and forth to work.
It's a great question.
Great question.
Yeah, that's atypical. They want to ask questions and get some negative feedback about him, discredit him. Yes.
Yeah, I promised you again, and then I promised to get to you. Yes, sir. Absolutely, because we want to start seeing what the demographics are of people who are being stopped. Why are they being stopped? bear with us for just a moment longer?
Maltbox guy.
Thank you, sir. Actually, any media outlets who want to put their mics on the podium certainly may. I'm sorry, we should have said that. By all means, please come and we should have actually done that.
Hey, unplug that.
So sorry.
No, unplug my feed. There you go.
All right, while we are waiting for the audio feed, I'd like for people to introduce themselves starting at this end of, just so you know.
Need more cable.
Yeah.
That's a preacher.
Where are you going?
Can you hear? You got it? Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hear?
Where you going? You ready?
Where are you?
Thank you. All right. Apparently we don't have, but you're certainly welcome to bring anything you want here to the podium, and I hope that will be sufficient. We will, let me address 2 points that I want to make sure that are very, very clear, and that as we proceed in this matter, my responsibilities are on the civil side, but I will be monitoring closely what happens on the criminal side. But the criminal side has to be taken up with the prosecutors. They're the ones who decide and try if the officer is to be tried. Having said that, I will be asking that a special prosecutor be appointed, and I'll be making that request on behalf of the family. We think that's very important, that a special independent prosecutor be brought in to absolutely handle this case from start to finish. Secondly, I will be reaching out to the Justice Department, to the Attorney General, because I want to make sure that the federal government is watching closely what has happened and what will happen in this case. A couple of last questions, please. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us a little more about the criminal, what Castro will decide, and if the family will have protections?
Brother Clarence?
Hi everyone. My name is Clarence Castile. I'm Philando's uncle. And I made all the arrangements for his homegoing ceremony. And we will have Father, I believe his name is Buell, from the cathedral. And we will have Pastor Stephen Daniels from Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church will come to the cathedral and perform the eulogy. Is there anything else? Is that good enough?
That's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough. And Shiloh is, of course, the home church for the family. Any other questions? If not, I appreciate you very much all being here because we think it's important that we continue to have discussions on this story. I will absolutely promise you transparency with the press. A little known fact is that before I became a judge, I was a corporate attorney for a major airline. And after a couple of crashes back to back at that airline, I was actually on special assignment to handle crisis management in media. So I've done media all over the world, and I have a great respect for the job that you do. I will also call you out if I think that the job hasn't been done well, so that we have that understanding. You get the best I got, I expect the best you've got back. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.